There is a funny story about Frank Lampard that is still being passed around among Chelsea fans as well as English football fans. In a television commercial for the famous soft drink brand Pepsi in Barcelona, Frank Lampard had the honor of appearing with the world's top names such as John Terry, Roberto Carlos, and Ronaldinho. Talents and unique skills that only they can do. After famous players Roberto Carlos and Ronaldinho anesthetized the director to make a promotional film with his top balls, it's Lampard's turn to show off his talent in front of the camera. At this time the other director said to Lampard, "Okay Lampard, it's your turn, do your forte." Lampard now seemed confused. He asked the director again, as if he hadn't heard his request clearly. "Excuse me, what do you want me to do?" The director mechanically repeated his request. "Well, one of his specialties, which one are you best at?" Lampard then smiled and answered with a confused look on his face. "Well, I tackle the ball, steal the ball and then score against the opponent's net from midfield." Maybe for many people, the above story will just be a funny story. But actually the story comes from the fact that Frank Lampard is very versatile. He is so versatile that it makes many people wonder, what is truly the forte of legendary number 8 at Stamford Bridge? However, when we look at the number of 268 goals throughout his career, we realize that Frank Lampard is an effective cannon in the midfield of every team he plays for. A midfielder with many goals like Frank Lampard must have a secret weapon that has allowed him to score many goals throughout his career. What is that secret weapon? How much has it helped Frank Lampard in scoring goals? When looking at the playing career of the lungless machine, we can see how much Lampard had to work hard. Specifically, in his 21 years of playing, Frank Lampard has won 13 major titles with Chelsea, including 3 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cup titles and 1 Champions League title. If we include the period of playing for West Ham as well as New York City and Man City on loan. In the first half of the 2014-2015 season, Super Frankie played a total of 19 matches, including 106 matches for England. During that time, he scored a total of 211 goals for Chelsea, along with 164 consecutive appearances for the Blues from 2001 to 2005. To achieve such a record of achievements with titles and goals, Super Frankie of course had to go through an arduous diet and exercise regimen. A regime that needs the help of scientific advances. Thanks to that, it wasn't until the age of 39 that the legendary central midfielder of English football retired from the field. Even after saying goodbye to the ball, Frank Lampard still kept his body. At the same time, he shared the secrets to maintaining his physical fitness under the pressure of intense and physical competition like the Premier League. What does a Super Frankie workout session typically look like? According to this midfielder in an interview with sports news site Coach Web conducted in 2018. 1 year after he officially announced his retirement, the midfielder shared the following. "Usually I'll do a 45-minute cardio session on the treadmill, usually an endurance workout or an interval workout. Then I'll do some regular swings. I will alternate doing those movements for 45 minutes to an hour. After I'm done, I spend 20 to 30 minutes working out my legs in the gym. Sometimes I do each exercise for a few minutes, but other times I focus on a certain exercise. However, there is one exercise I never skip. Cardio." Of course, with a famous player like Frank Lampard, not only did he practice and play, but he also had to do a lot of recording sessions, followed by meeting the media as well as celebrities. So how does Super Frankie balance that tight work schedule with his training schedule? With this question, Frank Lampard shares the following. "Many times I feel frustrated because I have a tight work schedule, and going to the gym is sometimes very difficult. In case I have to move, I always try to spend at least an hour practicing a certain movement, even if I can't practice for a long time. I also try to exercise about 40 minutes a day because I have a session card in Chelsea's gym. So every time I come home, I run to practice there every day." It can be seen that thanks to a dense training schedule along with a strict diet, Super Frankie has been able to maintain his form. At the same time, it helps the body maintain flexibility and fullness even when entering old age. However, just practicing alone is not enough. Frank Lampard must still have some secret to help him so effectively. We all know that at that time, Jose Mourinho and Frank Lampard had a very good relationship. Their relationship is so compatible that if Jose Mourinho gives an instruction, Frank Lampard will immediately follow his instructions. We already know that Jose Mourinho is a famous coach with a pragmatic football philosophy. A philosophy in which every player must perform their duties in the best but simplest way possible. Under his guidance, Frank Lampard is such an aim. A machine that works tirelessly on both lines, a machine that only knows its mission. That's tackling, fighting for the ball, and then scoring in the midfield, exactly like what he shared with the advertising film director. However, there is one more thing that makes Frank Lampard shine under the Portuguese coach. That is Jose Mourinho's special psychological measures for him. One of them he shared in the book Totally Frank, published in 2006. According to Frank Lampard, once sitting together in the dressing room, the Portuguese teacher shared with Super Frankie as follows. Listen to me, a year ago Deco was a great player, and now he is becoming the best player of the year in European football. Why do you think? Let me tell you, a year ago he won the treble with Porto. Thanks to that he proved to the world that he is the #1 player as well as he is as good as Zidane and Deco. So, what you need to do is go out and win. You are the best player in the world, but to prove it you have to win trophies, you know what I mean? It can be said that for a young player like Frank Lampard, receiving the trust and encouragement from his Portuguese teacher has helped him gain the confidence to shine in the Chelsea squad under a special person. At the same time, he becomes a versatile machine that can perform well in all stages on the field. The most special thing is still scoring goals, which is not the forte of central midfielders at the same time. We can conclude that the success of players, especially players in the versatile midfielder position like Frank Lampard, comes from many factors. From the way we eat and practice to the spirit of competition on the field at Frank Lampard. He has a reasonable diet and exercise regimen. At the same time, he gained the trust and encouragement from teacher Jose Mourinho, who created Super Frankie's confidence and desire to win in the early days of his career. Thanks to that, he has become one of the best and most versatile midfielders. Not only of English football but also of world football. A midfielder that we may not see for the second time in our lifetime.